Hi everyone, today we're doing a build breakdown on James's car. So Let's have a look at what you've got.
Oh, you've got to look through the filth. I haven't cleaned it in, I don't even know how many months at this point.
I thought that you were talking about the fact that I had made a massive mess of our workshop. Actually, before we go out there, what's this?
Oh, that's a secret project. We can't show anybody that.
A secret project?
Oh, yeah.
Why doesn't it have anything on it?
It's the next one.
Okay.
The next one.
Show us under the bonnet.
We can do. It's going to be like all the nothing. All the nothing. Don't worry about the bits that are missing in the corners.
We can't know what's going on there.
Oh, it's not a secret, I suppose. Bigger engine.
Oh yeah? How big? 2 litres?
4 at least.
Well, before we get too far into the future and spoil any surprises, let's go have a look at the one outside.
Well, this is my crap.
Nice, so this is the weapon.
Lovingly referred to as Winston. This is a 94 1.8 Unos. Found it on a farm down in the West Country for like 400 quid. Hadn't had an MOT for years. Bought it, traded it back, put it through an MOT. Just literally required one brake line being made and the headlight relay needed to be replaced, so it went up and down again. What were we doing? Auto solos actually.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
And I didn't have anything to compete in there or join in, so I had to have something, but it had to be cheap. And we're about to be visited by the post lady, delivering all of your speed parts.
So this is going to be every modification that you've done to this car.
Well, outside, not that much. It's got the requisite lip on the front that clearly the ground has assaulted it viciously. Bonnet is black now. It wasn't always black. There is a reason for that. I did crash it once. I needed a new bonnet. And black looked better. Got a cut bumper. And the old KG Works spoiler.
Yeah. What are these?
Those are vents that you're going to be very jealous of. Because when these are open on a hot day, you get a permanent breeze through the cabin, even without the windows open.
Lovely. Is the window not a Project G?
It is a Project G, actually. Yeah, it's all floppy, as it should be for lightness.
So what are your wheels?
Those are Team Dynamics Pro Race 1.2s.
And what's going on here? Because there's some weird vents that are a very strange shape and weird little flaps in front of them that are all flaking. What's going on there?
They are all flaking. Just a vented bonnet, but I am quite cheap. I found a couple of like kit car style plastic ones that have been printed or molded or whatever, and I put them in these 2 spaces on each side. They were a weird rectangular shape. They looked all right, they didn't look great, but as soon as the turbo got hot, they didn't last. They just kept melting and then they just fell in. And then I just got this cheap mesh, which reminds me of a Ford Focus grille.
Oh, what you're supposed to say is that they're hexagonal, like a Lamborghini.
Let's go with that. And then because the principles of aerodynamics require a low pressure zone to evacuate air more efficiently, I just added some angle iron as a sort of ghetto gurney flap thing. Obviously there's no structure in this anyway, so
okay, then you've got aero catches as well.
Yeah, because the whole bonnet catch system didn't need to be there. It weighed more than those.
So let's have a little look inside. Actually, I think you need to, from what I've just seen, you need to show me all the areas that need some attention. You're hiding, right?
It's suffered a bit from my lack of attention, shall we say.
I thought this car was mint when you got it.
It was. It was.
And why is it now not?
I owned it. And I didn't care for it. I will put my hands on it. I did do that. I did that by not caring at all and just driving it all the time. It's been my daily since I've owned it.
And how long's that?
2.5, 3 years. It's the longest car I've owned, actually. I've never owned something as long as that. It is all rusty. All this whole arch panel is pretty bad. It's pretty bad down here. It does crunch if you push it. And I did push through there, and then I filled it with polyurethane sealant so I didn't see the hole anymore. It's done a wonderful job.
You're a scumbag.
I won't deny that. We did boroscope it, and then we found out that the rust is nearly all on the outside panel, and there's nothing really structural. So it is savable.
So if somebody wants this car for how much? Well, not the car, the shell.
The car is worth a lot to me personally.
Yeah.
Nothing to anybody else.
If somebody wants the shell, 50 quid?
Yeah, come and take it.
Well, the first thing, apart from the fact that there is a no door card at all, and so all the dust just flies in the cabin as you're driving. There's like, no, can you not lock the car?
That's the only bit you need. It's fine, it's functional. Got the door strap. The window does not go up or down.
You've got such an unhealthy obsession with stripping weight that your window no longer works.
It doesn't, yeah, it's fine. I don't use a passenger seat, obviously.
Although, I mean, that unhealthy obsession doesn't go that far because you've still got carpet.
Yeah, but the carpet is completely stripped underneath. So there's literally nothing there.
Oh, it is luxury though, look at it. Piles this carpet is. Oh, early Mark 1 carpet.
Look at it.
Oh. So I guess you've got your hand on something.
Yeah, the door bars.
What's that?
The GC Fabs door bars.
GCR door bars?
Yeah, they are, because I've got the GCR2 in there. The single best thing I ever did to it was the door bars. I absolutely love the door bars. They made a huge difference in stiffness.
Absolutely I think what we should do is we should show people how eloquently you can get in and out of this car.
Oh, I've got that down to a fine art. See, that wasn't so bad. Did you show the people my lovely headlining? Look at that.
I think that really suits your personality.
It does. I'm a bright, flowery person.
There's a whole bunch of weird stuff going on here, so...
Yeah, there's nothing in here that's standard at all, really, apart from that. I've got all the important things to hand. The flat shift switch, so you can turn flat shift on and off. That literally just interrupts the clutch switch. Got the shift lights, so when you're on track you can actually see because the gears go very quickly. We've got the map switch, which is now not the map switch. The map switch is the 3-step limiter for rolling launch. And the water meth injection I've never installed, but it's there just in case. At one point, all of these did actually work. They don't work now, but they did. And to activate it, I had to move this manually.
You'd have to reach round.
Yeah, I did. It was kind of awkward, especially if you suddenly feel that you're hot and you want to move it away from the windscreen.
And you're wearing harnesses.
Oh yeah, you have to quickly hoik them out.
So really ergonomics orientated, this car.
Oh yeah, everything you need to touch when you're strapped in, you can touch. Namely, the main controls and the flat shift and the 3-step. Otherwise, all the stuff's normal. We've got the oil pressure gauge, or temperature gauge rather, that tells you that the car is always running cool. You've got your oil pressure gauge on this side, which you have to come around to see. Your oil pressure gauge. That's the only one I ever really look at. That's the important one. Down a cluster, but I've removed the plastic chrome rings from inside.
I've just realised that we haven't shown that sticker.
That's the motivational message as you get in. This weighs the least of any window mechanism I've ever seen. 2 boat canopy clips. Seat belt. Job's a good one.
So that's a really simple action whilst you're inside the car moving.
It's not that bad. It looks like it would be terrible. I can demonstrate if you want to see. Everyone is always asking me how that can possibly be comfortable. This is super secure. Don't nick anything. I've got some wildlife. That weighs something actually.
So no spare wheel, no nothing.
No, and these are quick release. So when it fills up with water, you just drain it out like a bath.
When, not if.
There's like a hole.
You're really setting a standard of workmanship.
Yeah, I just never bothered to fix it.
Better.
This is a built engine-ish. It's got the first ever rod block we ever did. I decided I wanted to open it up to check that the bores were all right. But as we know, when you enter something, when you open it, you just fall down the rabbit hole.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, we won't look over there then, shall we? It's the most balanced engine we've ever done because it's balanced literally to 0.1 of a gram, every single component. Which did mean hogging masses of material out from the pistons.
So, because they're cast pistons still, aren't they?
Yeah.
How much material did you have to take out per piston?
The heaviest to lightest, the heaviest one had to remove 5.5 grams.
That is a considerable amount.
And because it's a cast piston, you can't move it out of anywhere. You're not supposed to remove it. So the only place I had was the pin bosses. So the pin bosses are probably half thickness to what they were when they came out of the engine.
So really, we would recommend if you want, do a forged. The forged pistons, they tend to come much more closely balanced, don't they?
They do, they're pretty good. Some of them are better than others, but even if they're not, they have a pad normally that you can then just grind a bit more material out of. I was at it with the Dremel for a very, very long time.
How many hours?
Oh, in this? Oh, just in that, as at least 8. I have polished all the ports, removed all the casting marks from both sets of ports. The manifold has been fully polished all the way up the runners. This part here, inside, is kind of rough as well. And I've ported that and polished it. And then the whole throttle body, or stock throttle bodies have a step in them. I've ported all that out of it, made a completely smooth bore the whole way, and fully port matched the throttle body to the neck here. Thinned it out quite a lot to do it, but it's held all the moon boost, so it's fine.
What's this?
That's the power. Pretty good. It's an EFR 6258. Very fast spooling. Makes as much power as you could ever want an MX-5 to make, really. This one makes more than I want it to all the time. The wastegate doesn't seem to be doing anything, so the more throttle you use, the more boost you make, you can't stop it. It just makes boost. Eventually it runs out of fuel, and that's what stopped it blowing up, I think. It's making more boosts than the ECU can tell me it's making.
Moon boosts.
It literally is moon boosts. We've got LS coils there. Those ones came from a breaker in the States, came off of a C7 Z06.
Cool.
Pretty good. Never had a problem with them. That solved a spark issue I had. It's got the 640cc injectors we do. It's the first car I've ever had them. We've upped the fuel pressure with the Deechworks fuel pressure regulator to 4 bar. That's about it really for engine. It's just, apart from having a big turbo on it and having a bit of fettling done to it, there's not that much crazy going on. It's literally mainly rods, bearings and rings. There's no fancy parts. It's not spent a lot of money on it.
So you've got a coolant reroute as well, I can see.
I did that while the engine was out. It made perfect sense to do, which means it's got the 94 to 00 head gasket, not the VVT head gasket in it. It's got no manifold brace to save the weight, but it also makes space for the oil cooler, which is through there, which you can't really see. It's got a nice little duct, aluminium duct that comes from it. It sits about here. That's that sort of orientation in the bumper. Might be able to see it if you really put a light down there and have a look.
Just about.
Oh yeah?
There it is.
I'm surprised. But we've got a completely custom brake setup as well. Like this is a 1-inch master cylinder from a Mazda 929 Estate. It was an ABS car, annoyingly this doesn't have ABS, so I had to then remake the brake lines to make it work. The booster is from a Mark II because it has a different push rod that interfaces with this master cylinder. And that goes to SVT brakes with standard plain discs on them and rodders pads. I had to move my washer bottle. So
what is that washer bottle? Because that doesn't, you're saying move it, but
I had to move it. There was a normal one, but when I moved it, I was feeling cheap and I bought a bicycle drinks bottle.
And that's the clamp that's on it as well, is it bicycle?
Yeah, that is the bicycle clamp as well. And then I drilled a hole in the bottom, stuck the pump in with a grommet, and wired it up with a longer wire, ran it like that for forever.
What strut brace is that?
That's a GC Fabs one.
And what's that catch can as well?
That catch can is an eBay piece of shit.
Oh, nice.
That has been actual pain in the arse. When the turbo went on, there was a annoying problem that if you let it idle for even about 20 seconds and then flip the throttle, you get a huge cloud of blue smoke come out the back. Just burning oil. We couldn't find any reason for it because the oil pressures it's running were standard. I spent ages chasing, maybe it's the drain hose being slightly awkward route and trying 3 different routes of drain hose, trying to make that blue smoke clear up.
Because if it's not draining away, then it's going to be pulling in the turbo and blowing out all the seals.
I was just looking for any possible explanation for the fact that the turbo might be backing up. And in the end, I was just, what can it possibly be? So I did the one thing I hadn't done yet, which was disconnect one of these 2 AN10 lines from that cooler, that can rather, and the problem went away. Nothing underneath is Mark 1. It's all Mark 2. It's got a Mark 2 subframe with Mark 2 rear hubs, Mark 2, literally all of it, even the anti-roll bars, all of it is Mark 2 arms. It's got Super Pro bushings. It's got a Mark 2 steering rack because of the Mark 2 subframe. That's been depowered, save the weight. Mark 2 rear hubs were done because you get an extra 10 mil of track width. These are the original Mazda Zetas, Zeta S's, I think.
Yeah, I think the Zeta S's.
The same as you guys have.
Yeah, and
we've had these for years. 10 kilogram at the front and 7 at the rear. Diff is the ATV that we made many years ago now. One of the first things I ever did on the car actually was take apart a steering rack and a diff and build them.
I think it's probably time that we go out for a little drive. What do you reckon?
We could. You'll have to sit on the floor.
Oh, can you imagine sliding forwards and catching your bits on those?
Well, that wouldn't be my problem, would it?
Let's go grab the keys. Thanks very much for watching. We hope that you enjoyed learning about this magnificent steed. Let us know down in the comments what your favourite part of this build is. Also, visit our website, bofiracing.co.uk, for loads of parts. Give us a ring. We love hearing what you guys are up to. As a final thing that we're going to leave you with, James, let's have a look at your commitment to weight saving.
The master stroke, as it were. The lovely key. That is 2.2 grams of weight saving you're looking at there. 2.2.
Let us down in below what your favourite...
Let us down in below.
Let us know in the comments down below what your favourite...
It's him again.